Welcome back to New Horizons. Hello, mate. If you remember the end of the last episode, we built our nether portal, and now, look where I am. And I am here for one thing, and one thing only, and that is quartz, because I want it for the floor outside my nether portal. Now if you're thinking, oh, he's such a lunatic, why isn't he going straight for a nether fortress? No! That's not the idea here. I am going for a slow play of the game. I want to take my time and I want to enjoy every moment in this world. That's why I still have no armour, even though we're on episode 4. But I'm thinking that might change by the end of this episode. I don't really have an excuse anymore. I think in the next few episodes we're going to be moving forward in the game towards the end, and with that in mind, I want to gear up a little bit. But of course I'm not going to do that with any sort of efficiency. No, instead, my plan today is to build a lovely enchanting tower. Because, if you remember, currently my enchantment table is in my basement, and I just don't think that's very fun. Now I am thinking while I'm here in the nether, I might as well just pick up as much quartz and gold as I can. Okay, that's enough for now. I'm heading back to the safety of the overworld. That wasn't the plan. I have no idea where I was. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, now, I bought this hay bale and watch this clutch. Okay. Time for round 3. Okay, I'm back again, and this time I've got a much better idea. A boat. I don't think I'm going to try and clutch into it, but instead I'm going to place it down and then just row off the edge here. See? Didn't even need the hay bale. Drama over. I've returned home. Everything is nice and calm and peaceful. And I can get on with my plans. The first of which is to finish up this flooring outside my nether portal. So I'm just going to use quartz bricks. I wanted to use resources from the nether because it kind of makes sense, right? Outside the nether portal. As though somebody's discovered this dimension and then used the resources to build an entrance to it. I don't know. It also just looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Okay, that is job 1 for the day done. And my nether portal now has eyes. Very spooky. No, I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. But oh boy, that was just the starter for today's episode. I've got a lovely main course to serve up in a minute. Right after I execute these trespassers. Out! 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 There we go. Doesn't the farm look lovely in the sun? Okay, so this mountaintop is where I'm planning to build my enchanting tower. And if I look over the edge here, you can see it's just right above my base. Very well situated between the base and the nether portal. And I've already gathered a bunch of sand and sandstone. And I'm just going to lay out a rough sort of plan for the foundations here before I go and collect the rest of my resources. So basically, it's going to be a big square. But I want to have a tower on the corner of it to keep things interesting and break up the shape a little bit. And we're going to have a bit of a drop-off on this side. But I'm not actually too worried about that. I think it'll make some interesting verticality to the build. I'm talking like I know anything at all. I don't. No, I just place blocks and hope that it looks good. It's been 0 seconds for you. But for me it's been like, I don't know, some amount of seconds. And I've gathered loads of resources. So the plan is a gradient from oak, logs and planks at the bottom of the tower up towards the sandstone and the lighter colours at the top. And I'm going to use stone bricks for the foundations that hold the whole thing up. And a cheeky bit of glass for some windows. Now the next bit's a bit boring and it's just making the basic shape. So I think I'm going to do it in the form of a time lapse. So let's go. And because this is a bit of a boring one, you're going to be stuck with me talking to you through it. So I thought I'd just mention, a couple of days ago, I sort of experimented with some YouTube shorts. And I suspect the odds are if you're watching this video, you might have seen them. And I kind of just wanted to gather some opinions on what people thought of them. You know, what sort of content would be more interesting for you, what is really dull to watch. And yeah, just any suggestions you have for those. That's the end of the time lapse. Alrighty, we've been left with a nice base here to build off, and now I've just got to add all the detail that makes it look like an actual building and not just, I don't know, some big sandstone blob on the top of a hill. So like I said, I think a big part of it's going to be in the windows and the dressing around them. Stuff like shutters and balconies, that sort of thing, you know. And I'm going to make them 3 blocks tall, because that will give me 2 levels and nice, tall, airy looking rooms inside. Like everything else in the world, there's a bit of English inspiration in this build, and this is a very sort of Victorian thing, I guess, just having these tall windows. So it should look cool. I like where this is going. I think maybe it's a bit too heavy on the deep slate at the moment, and not really enough variety. So if I do something different with this window, and I'm thinking maybe spruce trapdoors, yeah, that's looking good. And I've had to get a bit creative here on this tower to make the windows work. I was looking at it trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I realised that shelves are in the game now. So I'm going to use them to just thicken up the wall a little bit outside the windows. And that means we can just have the windows be 1 block wide on this 2x2 tower, which is perfect. I'm liking where this is going. I think I'm going to have to see both levels before the vision really sort of gets going in my head. But I'm liking where it's going. I have a horrible feeling that this is starting to look a little bit boring. It's just too symmetrical. There's not enough variation to it. No, I'm going to have to get rid of those top floor windows. And I've had an idea. I'm going to put in something resembling a bay window. So it's going to stick out an extra block and just give nice panoramic views of the world. These sandstone walls are going to let the panes of glass connect up without looking too bulky. And voila, we have something a little bit more interesting, in my humble opinion. I don't know, let me know what you think. Now, obviously, this side, as we're running up the hill, also needs a bit of detailing, otherwise it's going to look quite boring. And to be honest, I'm just going to do more of the same from the other side, so I'll spare you the boredom of having to watch that. Right, I haven't subjected you guys to it, but I've had multiple attempts here to try and put a peaked roof on this tower, and it just looks terrible because it's a 2-block centre. So I've decided to pivot, and it's not giving up, it's pivoting. We're going for, like, crenellations instead. Yeah, that'll do. I'm going to move those slabs over, though, because that's just... Inspiration has struck, and I'm going to make the tower on the other side into a peaked roof instead. Because it's got the 1-block centre, I think it's going to look a whole lot better. Now, I don't know if you ever tried to do it, but building these roofs is a whole pain. So I'm just going to lock in and get it done, and then we'll check back in after. There were 3 really ugly versions of this roof before this one, and I'm finally happy with it, and I'm just going to leave it be, let it oxidise, and it'll look lovely. And now, from its regular viewing point, if you ignore the grass blocks scattered all over the side of it, I think it's starting to look very nice indeed. Okay, now the tower's starting to take shape, I'm going for a change of pace, and I'm going to start working on the structure underneath it. So I'm picturing basically just like a big stone brick slab that's holding it up around the hillside. And it's going to sort of meld into the hillside in the places where they join up. So I'm just sort of feeling this out as I go, to be honest, and I think make it sort of arched underneath the tower will look kind of good. There's strength in arches. If anybody gets that reference, I'll be very, very pleased. And then I'm going to use deep slate behind it to give it a bit more of an effect of depth, because the deep slate's darker. Again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just say it because it sounds good. And it looks good too, if I do say so myself. Very humbly, of course. Go away, creeper. Interrupting my monologue. Yeah, that's starting to make it look a bit more grounded now. I'm just going to add a few rougher looking blocks under the tower here on the edges where it looks like they probably wouldn't get as much sunlight. So I've got mossy cobble and mud right now. And if I can ever remember what the crafting recipe is for coarse dirt, then I'll definitely add that in too. Just makes it look a bit less like the tower's just been dumped on top of the throne, and instead it's sort of integrated into it. Small little detail here, adding in a hopper on the underside of this tower to give it a nice point down towards the ground. And now with some windows in the tower, it's really starting to look quite good indeed. Obviously there's still a big blank spot on this side, but I'm working on it, I'll get there. First I'm just going to round off the roof, sort of similar style to the first tower I built. Going to add some crenellations around the edge and supports of deep slate brick. I don't like the sound of that. I think that was a baby zombie. Oh my god. What is that? I have never seen that before. Okay, run away, run away! How long have these things been in the game? Oh, and I just know it's going to kill me with that spear as well, isn't it? Let's see. Oh my god, yeah, no, I'm dead in 2 hits of this. I got lucky there. I got very lucky. I don't really want to open that door again, but I need to kill it. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh. Panic over. I got a bunch of this spare copper left over too, so this is going to become the roof/ceiling, I guess, of the tower. And because I've got quite so much spare, it's also going to become the floor on the inside. For the middle floor, I want to do something a bit more interesting, so I'm thinking a checkerboardy sort of pattern, and the blocks I have available right now are smooth sandstone and deep slate tiles, so I guess that's what it's going to be. And I'm not going to bother with stairs because I'd lose a whole bunch of the space in here. So instead we're having a lovely ladder in the corner. And now I've got that ladder finished, I'm just taking a moment to soak in the view and appreciate just how nice this game looks now. Incredible. Now I've just gone and collected my enchanting setup from my basement. And I've also made some chiselled bookshelves, which I have never crafted before, but I think they're going to add a bit more pizzazz. Now, I really want to be careful to make sure that I still get level 30 enchants, because there's no point in building this lovely enchanting setup and then getting level 25 or something like that. I quite like how this room's turning out, but I think it needs a bit more clutter. I'm thinking shelves, what am I thinking? Armour stands. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm definitely thinking I'm going to need to go and get some resources before I can call this build done. Alrighty, turns out I already had some spruce trapdoors in a chest, and I thought they could make a nice shelf texture for this room. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, I can see this working. I just think it definitely still needs some more clutter. Maybe pots, paintings, those sorts of things. Just random stuff to lay about. I have returned from my resource gathering, and oh my god, I did not realise how difficult it was to find, what are they called? Bee places, beehives. But I also got some very stylish red and yellow carpets that I think will look lovely on this ground floor. And I've run out before I can finish the pattern, but we'll make it look intentional. We'll say that this is what it was supposed to look like. I also thought barrels would look fun, maybe just a bit of junk, and an armour stand sitting in the corner, just because, really, I suppose. The whole idea is to make it feel sort of lived in, as though somebody has thought, I know, I'll just chuck all my rubbish in the bottom floor of this because it's not a very interesting place. And that way, when I walk in here, it feels more like a real place and less like an empty box that my enchanting table's in. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without some paintings. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. And on this upper floor, again, just going to get junk scattered about. So I've got another armour stand here that's going to tuck away in this corner. And then the candles and the amethyst and the paintings are just going to get scattered about all over the place to look sort of homely, I suppose. They give a nice glow. I've sort of limited the amount of space on these shelves I can actually use. But this top one, I think, will look lovely with an amethyst on it. And these item frames that I definitely made deliberately and wasn't trying to make paintings, they can just go on the wall here. Doesn't that look cozy? I think it does, at least. I'm very happy with how this has turned out. And up here, it just looks a lot more alive. You know, it's just nice. It's just a nice place to be. And now it's time for the big moment. The whole reason that I've built this tower in the first place. I'm finally going to get myself some diamond armour. So I've made myself a full set, and as you can see, or have seen for the whole episode probably, my levels are through the roof right now. So let's see what we can get. Okay, helmet first. Fire. I'm not going for fire protection. Let's see. Protection 3. Okay, that's not a great start. I'm breaking through the leggings. Blast protection. Oh, protection 4. That's good. Now those are boots that I'm happy with. And helmet, I'm breaking through. Respiration, I'm happy with. Protection, I'm happy with. Those legs and that chest plate are terrible, but I don't have the levels right now to do anything about it, so I'm going to leave it there for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I look very stylish, and as always, I hope you have enjoyed the episode. If you have, please do like, comment, subscribe, all the rest of it. You know, it really does help the video out in the big black box of the algorithm. But while I hack this zombie to death with my sword and my new armour, I will let the music play you out. Bye!